Chapter 19. There is a newsstand in Lambert, St. Louis International Airport which carries many of the major daily newspapers from all over the United States. The New York, Washington, Chicago, and Los Angeles papers come in by air freight, and you can buy them on the same day they are published. Like many newsstands, this one is owned by a chain and, along with the standard magazines and papers, the operator is required to take a certain amount of trash. When the Chicago Tribune was delivered to the stand at 10 o'clock on Monday night, a bundle of tattlers thumped on the floor beside it. The bundle was still warm in the center. The newsstand operator squatted in front of his shelves, arranging the Tribunes. He had enough else to do. The day guys never did their share of straightening. A pair of black zippered boots came into the corner of his vision. A Brouser. No. The boots were pointed at him. Somebody wanted some damn thing. The newsie wanted to finish arranging his Tribunes, but the insistent attention made the back of his head prickle. His trade was transient. He didn't have to be nice. "What is it?" he said to the niece. "A tattler." "You'll have to wait till I bust the bundle." The boots did not go away. They were too close. "Said you'll have to wait till I bust the bundle, you understand? See, I'm working here." A hand and a flash of bright steel and the twine on the bundle beside him parted with a pop. A Susan B. Anthony dollar rang on the floor in front of him. A clean copy of the Tattler, jerked from the center of the bundle, spilled the top ones to the floor. The newsstand operator got to his feet. His cheeks were flushed. The man was leaving with the paper under his arm. Hey you!" The man turned to face him. "Me?" "Yeah, you. I told you." "You told me what?" He was coming back. He stood too close. "You told me what?" Usually a rude merchant can fluster his customers. There is something awful in this one's calm. The newsie looked at the floor. "You got a quarter coming back." Dollarhide turned his back and walked out. The newsstand operator's cheeks burned for half an hour. "Yeah, that guy was in here last week too. He comes in here again and I'll tell him where to fucking get off. I got something under the counter for wise asses." Dollarhide did not look at the tattler in the airport. Last Thursday's message from Lecter had left him with mixed feelings. Dr. Lecter had been right, of course, in saying that he was beautiful and it was thrilling to read. He was beautiful. He felt some contempt for the doctor's fear of the policeman. Lecter did not understand much better than the public. Still, he was on fire to know if Lecter had sent him another message. He would wait until he got home to look. Dollarhide was proud of his self-control. He mused about the newsstand operator as he drove. There was a time when he would have apologized for disturbing the man and never came back to the newsstand. For years he had taken shit unlimited from people. Not anymore. The man could have insulted Francis Dollarhide. He could not face the dragon. It was all part of becoming. At midnight, the light above his desk still burned. The message from the Tattler was decoded and waddled on the floor. Pieces of the Tattler were scattered where Dollarhide had clipped it for his journal. The great journal stood open beneath the painting of the dragon. Glue still drying where new clippings were fastened. Beneath them, freshly attached, was a small plastic bag, empty as yet. The legend beside the bag said, "With these he offended me." But Dollarhide had left his desk. He was sitting on the basement stairs in the cool must of the earth and mildew. The beam from his electric lantern moved over draped furniture. The dusty backs of the great mirrors that once hung in the house and now leaned against the walls. The trunk containing his case of dynamite. The beam stopped on a tall draped shape, one of several in the far corner of the cellar. Cobwebs touched his face as he went to it. Dust made him sneeze when he pulled the cloth over. He blinked back tears and shone his light on the old oak wheelchair he had uncovered. It was high-backed, heavy and strong, one of 3 in the basement. The country had provided them to grandmother in the 1940s when she ran her nursing home there. The wheels squeaked as he rolled the chair across the floor. Despite its weight, he carried it easily up the stairs. In the kitchen, he oiled the wheels. The small front wheels still creaked, but the back ones had a good bearings and spun freely at the flip of his finger. The searing anger in him was eased by the wheel's soothing hum. As he spun them, Dollarhide hummed too. Chapter 20. When Freddie Lowndes left the Tattler office at noon on Tuesday, he was tired and high. He had put together the Tattler story on the plane to Chicago and laid it out in the composing room in 30 minutes flat. The rest of the time he had worked steadily on his paperback, brushing off all callers. He was a good organizer, and now he had 50,000 words of solid background. When the Tooth Fairy was caught, he'd do a whammo lead and an account of the capture. The background material would fit in neatly. He had arranged to have 3 of the Tattler's best reporters ready to go on short notice. Within hours of the capture, they could be digging for details wherever the Tooth Fairy lived. His agent talked very big numbers. Discussing the project with the agent ahead of time was, strictly speaking, a violation of his agreement with Crawford. All contracts and memos would be post-dated after the capture to cover that up. Crawford held a big stick. He had Lowndes' threat on tape. Interstate transmission of a threatening message was an indictable offense outside any protection Lowndes enjoyed under the First Amendment. Lowndes also knew that Crawford, with one phone call, could give him a permanent problem with the Internal Revenue Service. There were polyps of honesty in Lowndes. He had few illusions about the nature of his work, but he had developed a near religious fervor about this project. He was possessed with a vision of a better life on the other side of money. Buried under all the dirt he had ever done, his old hopes still faced east. Now they stirred and strained to rise. Satisfied that his cameras and recording equipment were ready, he drove home to sleep for 3 hours before the flight to Washington, where he would meet Crawford near the trap. A damned nuisance, the underground garage. The black van, parked in the space next to his, was over the line. It crowded into the space clearly marked Mr. Frederick Lowndes. Lowndes opened his door hard, banging the side of the van and leaving a dent and a mark. That would teach the inconsiderate bastard. Lowndes was locking his car when the van door opened behind him. He was turning, had half turned when the flat sap thocked over his ears. He got his hands up, but his knees were going. There was a tremendous pressure around his neck, and the air was cut off. When his heaving chest could fill it again, it sucked chloroform. Dollarhide parked the van beside his house, climbed out and stretched. He had fought a crosswind all the way from Chicago, and his arms were tired. He studied the night sky. The Perseid meteor shower was due soon, and he must not miss it. Revelation, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them down to the earth. His doing in another time, he must see it and remember. Dollarhide unlocked the back door and made his routine search of the house. When he came outside again, he wore a stalking mask. He opened the van and attached a ramp. Then he rolled out Freddie Lowndes. Lowndes wore nothing but his shorts and a gag and blindfold. Though he was only semi-conscious, he did not slump. He sat up very straight, his head against the high back of the old oak wheelchair. From the back of his head on the soles of his feet, he was bound to the wheelchair with epoxy glue. Dollarhide rolled him into the house and parked him in a corner of the parlor with his back to the room, as though he had misbehaved. "Are you too cool? Would you like a blanket?" Dollarhide peeled off the sanitary napkins covering Lowndes' eyes and mouth. Lowndes didn't answer. The odor of chloroform hung on him. "I'll get you a blanket." Dollarhide took an Afghan from the sofa and tucked it around Lowndes up to the chin, then pressed the ammonia bottle under his nose. Lowndes' eyes opened wide on a blurred joining of walls. He coughed and started talking. "Accident? My heart bad?" The voice behind him. "No, Mr. Lowndes, you'll be just fine." "My back hurts. My skin. Did I get burned? I hope to God I'm not burned." "Burned? Burned. No. You just rest there. I'll be with you in a little while." "Let me lie down. Listen, I want you to call my office. My God, I'm in a striker frame. My back's broken. Tell me the truth." Footsteps going away. "What am I doing here?" The question shrill at the end. The answer came from far behind him. "Atoning, Mr. Lowndes." Lowndes heard footsteps mounting stairs. He heard a shower running. His head was clearer now. He remembered leaving the office and driving, but he couldn't remember after that. The side of his head throbbed at the smell of chloroform made him gag. Held rigidly erect, he was afraid he would vomit and drown. He opened his mouth wide and breathed deep. He could hear his heart. Lowndes hoped he was asleep. He tried to raise his arm from the armrest, increasing the pull deliberately until the pain in his palm and arm was enough to wake him from any dream. He was not asleep. His mind gathered speed. By straining, he could turn his eyes enough to see his arm for a few seconds. He saw how he was fastened. This was no device to protect broken backs. This was no hospital. Someone had him. Lowndes thought he heard footsteps on the floor above, but they might have been his heartbeats. He tried to think, strained to think. "Keep cool and think," he whispered. "Cool and think." The stairs creaked as Dollarhide came down. Lowndes felt the weight in him of every step, and presence behind him now. Lowndes spoke several words before he could adjust the volume of his voice. "I haven't seen your face. I couldn't identify you. I don't know what you look like. The Tattler. I work for the National Tattler. Would pay a reward. A big reward for me. $500,000. $1 million maybe. $1 million. Silence behind him. Then a squeak of couch springs. He was sitting down then. "What do you think, Mr. Lowndes?" Put the pain and fear away and think. Now, for all time, to have some time, to have years. He hasn't decided to kill me. He hasn't let me see his face. "What do you think, Mr. Lowndes?" "I don't know what's happened to me." "Do you know who I am, Mr. Lowndes?" "No, I don't want to know, believe me." "According to you, I'm a vicious, perverted sexual failure. An animal, you said, probably turned loose from an asylum by a do-good judge. Ordinarily, Dollarhide would have avoided the sibilant S in sexual. In the presence of his audience, very far from laughter, he was freed. You know now, don't you? Don't lie, think fast." "Yes." "Why do you write lies, Mr. Lowndes? Why do you say I'm crazy? Answer, now." When a person does things that most people can't understand, they call him crazy. They call it like the Wright brothers all throughout history. History. Do you understand what I'm doing, Mr. Lowndes? Understand. There it was. A chance. Swing hard. "No, but I think I've got an opportunity to understand, and that all my readers could understand too." "Do you feel privileged?" "It's a privilege, but I have to tell you man to man that I'm scared. It's hard to concentrate when you're scared. If you have a great idea, you wouldn't have to scare me for me to be really interested." Man to man. Man to man. You use that expression to imply frankness, Mr. Lowndes. I appreciate that. But you see, I'm not a man. I began as one once, but by the grace of God and my own will, I've become other and more than a man. You say you're frightened. Do you believe that God is in attendance here, Mr. Lowndes? I don't know. Are you praying to him now? Sometimes I pray. I have to tell you, I just pray mostly when I'm scared. And does God help you? I don't know. I don't think about it after. I ought to. You ought to. There are so many things you ought to understand. In a little while I'll help you understand. Will you excuse me now? Certainly. Footsteps out of the room. The slide and rattle of a kitchen drawer. Lowndes had covered many murders committed in kitchens where things are handy. Police reporting can change forever your view of kitchens. Water running now. Lowndes thought it must be night. Crawford and Graham were expecting him. Certainly he had been missed by now. A great, hollow sadness pulsed briefly in his fear. Breathing behind him, a flash of white caught by his rolling eye. A hand, powerful and pale, it held a cup of tea with honey. Lowndes sipped it through a straw. "I do a big story," he said between sips. "Anything you want to say, describe you any way you want, or no description, no description." Shh. A single finger tapped the top of his head. The lights brightened. The chair began to turn. "No, I don't want to see you." "Oh, but you must, Mr. Lowndes. You're a reporter. You're here to report. When I turn you around, open your eyes and look at me. If you won't open them yourself, I'll staple your eyelids to your forehead." A wet mouth noise, a snapping click, and the chair spun. Lowndes faced the room, his eyes tight shut. A finger tapped insistently on his chest. A touch of eyelids. He looked. To Lowndes, seated, he seemed very tall standing in his kimono. A stocking mask was rolled up to his nose. He turned his back to Lowndes and dropped the robe. The great back muscles flexed above the brilliant tattoo of the tail and ran down his lower back and wrapped around the leg. The dragon turned his head slowly, looked over his shoulder at Lowndes and smiled, all gags and stains. "Oh, my dear God, Jesus," Lowndes said. Lounge now in the center of the room where he can see the screen. Dollarhide behind him had put on his robe and put in the teeth that allowed him to speak. Do you want to know what I am? Lounge tried to nod. The chair jerked his scalp. More than anything, I was afraid to ask. Look. The first slide was Blake's painting. The great man-dragon, wings flared and tail lashing, poised above the woman clothed with the sun. Do you see now? I see. Rapidly, Dollarhide ran through his other slides. Click, Mrs. Jacoby alive. Do you see? Yes. Click, Mrs. Leeds alive. Do you see? Yeah. Click, Dollarhide, the dragon rampant, muscles flexed and a tail tattoo over the Jacoby's bed. Do you see? Yes. Click, Mrs. Jacoby waiting. Do you see? Yes. Click, Mrs. Jacoby after. Do you see? Yes. Click, the dragon rampant. Do you see? Yes. Click, Mrs. Leeds waiting, her husband slack beside her. Do you see? Yes. Click, Mrs. Leeds after, harlequined with blood. Do you see? Yes. Click, Freddie Lowndes, a copy of the Tatler photograph. Do you see? Do you see? Oh God, do you see? Oh my God. The words are drawn out as a child speaks crying. Do you see? Please, no. No what? Not me. No what? You're a man, Mr. Lowndes. Are you a man? Yes. Do you imply that I'm some kind of queer? God, no. Are you queer, Mr. Lowndes? No. Are you going to write more lies about me, Mr. Lowndes? Oh, no, no. Why do you write lies, Mr. Lowndes? The police told me. That's what they say. You quote William Graham. Graham told me the lies. Graham! Will you tell the truth now about me, my work, my becoming, my art, Mr. Lowndes? Is this art? Art! The fear in Lowndes' face freed Dollarhide to speak, and you could fly on sibilants and fricatives. Plosives were great webbed wings. You say that I, who see more than you, am insane. I, who push the world so much farther than you, am insane. I have dared more than you. I have pressed my unique seal so much deeper in the earth where it will last longer than your dust. Your life to mine is a slug track on stone, a thin sliver mucus track in and out of the letters on my monument. The words Dollarhide had written in his journal swarmed in him now. I am the dragon, and you call me insane. My movements are followed and recorded as avidly as those of a mighty guest star. Do you know about the guest star in the 1054? Of course not. Your readers follow you like a child follows a slug track with his finger, and in the same tired loops of reason, back to your shallow skull and potato face as slug follows his own slime back home. Before me you are a slug in the sun. You are privy to the great becoming, and you recognize nothing. You are an ant in the afterbirth. It is in your nature to do one thing correctly. Before me, you rightly tremble. Fear is not what you owe me, Mr. Lowndes, you and the other prisoners. You owe me awe. Dollarhide stood, his head down, his thumb and forefinger against the bridge of his nose. Then he left the room. He didn't take off the mask, Lowndes thought. He didn't take off the mask. If he comes back with it off, I'm dead. God, I'm wet all over. He rolled his eyes toward the doorway and waited through the sounds from the back of the house. When Dollarhide returned, he still wore the mask. He carried a lunchbox and 2 thermoses. For your trip back home. He held up a thermos. Ice, we'll need that. Before we go, we'll tape a little while. He clipped the microphone to the Afghan near Lowndes' face. Repeat after me. They taped for half an hour, finally. That's all, Mr. Lowndes. You did very well. Will you let me go now? I will. There's one way, though, that I can help you better understand and remember. Dollarhide turned away. I want to understand. I want you to know that I appreciate you turning me loose. I'm really going to be fair from now on. You know that. Dollarhide could not answer. He had changed his teeth. The tape recorder was running again. He smiled at Lowndes, a brown, stained smile. He placed his hand on Lowndes' heart and, leaning to him intimately as though to kiss him, he bit Lowndes' lips off and spit them on the floor. Chapter 21. Dawn in Chicago, heavy air, and the gray sky low. A security guard came out of the lobby of the Tatler building and stood at the curb smoking a cigarette and rubbing the small of his back. He was alone on the street, and in the quiet you could hear the clack of the traffic light changing at the top of the hill, a long block away. Half a block north of the light, out of the guard's sight, Francis Dollarhide squatted beside Lowndes in the back of the van. He arranged the blanket in a deep cowl that hid Lowndes' head. Lowndes was in great pain. He appeared stuporous, but his mind was racing. There were things he must remember. The blindfold was tented across the nose, and he could see Dollarhide's fingers checking the crusted gag. Dollarhide put on the white jacket of a medical orderly, laid a thermos in Lowndes' lap, and rolled them out of the van. When he locked the wheels of the chair and turned to put the ramp back in the van, Lowndes could see the end of the van's bumper beneath his blindfold. Turning now, seeing the bumper guard, yes, the license plate. Only a flash, but Lowndes burned it into his mind. Rolling now, sidewalk seams. Around the corner and down a curb, paper cracked under the wheels. Dollarhide stopped the wheelchair in front of the littered shelter between the garbage dumpster and a parked truck. He pulled at the blindfold. Lowndes closed his eyes, an ammonia bottle under his nose. A soft voice behind him. "Can you hear me? You're almost there." The blindfold off now. "Blink if you can hear me." Dollarhide opened his eye with a thumb and forefinger. Lowndes was looking at Dollarhide's face. "I told you one fib." Dollarhide tapped the thermos. "I don't really have your lips on ice." He whipped off the blanket and opened the thermos. Lowndes strained hard when he smelled the gasoline, separating the skin from under his forearms and making the stout chair groan. The gas was cold all over him, fumes filling his throat as they were rolling toward the center of the street. "Do you like being Graham's pet, Freddy?" Led with a whump and shoved, sent rolling onto the Tatler. The wheels squeaked. The guard looked up as a scream blew the burning gag away. He saw the fireball coming, bouncing on the potholes, trailing smoke and sparks as the flame blowed like wings, disjointed reflections leaping along the shop windows. It veered and struck a parked car and overturned in front of the building, one wheel spinning in flames through the smoke, blazing arms rising in the fighting posture as he burned. The guard ran back into the lobby. He wondered if it would blow up, if he could still get away from the windows. He pulled the fire alarm. What else? He grabbed the fire extinguisher off the wall and looked outside. It hadn't blown up yet. The guard approached cautiously through the greasy smoke, spreading low over the pavement, and at last sprayed foam on Freddie Lowndes. Chapter 22. The schedule called for Graham to leave the staked-out apartment in Washington at 5:45 a.m., well ahead of the morning rush. Crawford called while he was shaving. "Morning." "Not so good," Crawford said. "Tooth Fairy got Lowndes in Chicago." "Oh, hell no. He's not dead yet. He's asking for you. He can't wait long." "I'll go. Meet me at the airport. United 2:45. It leaves in 40 minutes. You can get back for the stakeout if it's on." Special Agent Chester from the Chicago FBI office met them at O'Hare in a downpour. Chicago is a city used to sirens. The traffic parted reluctantly in front of them as Chester howled down the expressway, the red lights flashing pink in the driving rain. He raised his voice over the siren. "Chicago PD says he was jumped into the garage. Our stuff says secondhand. We're not popular around here today." "How much is out?" Crawford said. "Whole thing, chap, all of it." "Did Lowndes get a look at him?" "I haven't heard description. Chicago PD put out all points bulletin for a license number about 6:20. Did you get a hold of Dr. Bloom for me?" "I got his wife, Jack. Dr. Bloom and his gallbladder taken out this morning." "Glorious," Crawford said. Chester pulled under the dripping hospital portico. He turned his seat. "Jack, well, before you go up, I hear his fruit's really trashed, Lowndes. You ought to be ready for that." Graham nodded. All the way to Chicago, he had tried to choke his hope that Lowndes would die before he had to see him. The corner of the page-burned center was a tube of spotless tile. A tall doctor with a curiously old, young face beckoned Graham and Crawford away from the knot of people at Lowndes' door. "Mr. Lowndes' burns are fatal," the doctor said. "I can't help him with the pain, and I intend to do it." He breathed flames, and his throat and lungs are damaged. He may not regain consciousness. In his condition, that would be a blessing. In the event that he does again regain consciousness, the state police have asked me to take the airway out of his throat so that he might possibly answer questions. I've agreed to try that briefly. At the moment, his nerve endings are anesthetized by fire. A lot of the pain is coming if he lives that long. I made this clear to the police, and I want to make it clear to you. I'll interrupt any attempted questioning to sedate him if he wants me to. You understand? Yes, Crawford said. With a nod to the patrolman in the front of the door, the doctor clasped his hands behind his white lab coat and moved away like a waiting egret. Crawford glanced at Graham. You okay? I'm okay. I had the SWAT team. Lounce's head was elevated in the bed. His hair and ears were gone, and a compress over his sightless eyes replaced the burned-off lids. His gums were puffed with blisters. The nurse beside him moved an IV stand so Graham could come close. Lounge smelled like a stable fire. Freddy, it's Will Graham. Lounge arched his neck against the pillow. The movement's just reflex. He's not conscious, the nurse said. The plastic airway holding open his scorched and swollen throat hissed in some time with the respirator. The pale detective sergeant sat in the corner with a tape recorder and a clipboard on his lap. Graham didn't notice him until he spoke. Lounge said your name in the emergency room before they put the airway in. You were there? Later I was there, but I've got what he said on tape. He gave the fireman a license number when they first got to him. He passed out. He was out in the ambulance, but he came around for a minute in the emergency room when they gave him a shot in the chest. Some Tatler people followed the ambulance. They were there. I have a copy of their tape. Let me hear it. The detective fiddled with his tape recorder. I think you want to use the earphone, he said, his face carefully blank. He pushed the button. Graham heard voices, a rattle of canisters. Put him in there! The bump of a litter on a swinging door, a wretched cough, and a voice croaking, speaking without lips. Tooth Harry. Freddy, did you see him? What did he look like? Freddy! Wendy, he's Wendy. Graham set me up. He can't do it. Graham set me up. Put his hand on me in the picture like a fucking Chet. Wendy? The voice like a drain sucking. The doctor's voice. That's it. Let me go there. Get out of the way. Now. That was all. Graham stood over Lounge while Crawford listened to the tape. We're running down the license number, the detective said. Could you understand what he was saying? Who's Wendy? Crawford asked. That hooker in the hall, the blonde with the chest. She's been trying to see him. She doesn't know anything. Why don't you let her in? Graham said from the back bedside. His back was to them. No visitors. The man's dying. Think I don't know it? I've been here since 6 o'clock. Excuse me, nurse. Take a few minutes, Crawford said. Here's some coffee. I'll put some water on your face. You can't say anything. If he does, I'll be here with the recorder. Okay, I could use it. When the detective was gone, Graham left Crawford at the bedside and approached a woman in the hall. Wendy? Yeah? If you're sure you want to go in there, I'll take you. I want to. Maybe I ought to go comb my hair. It doesn't matter, Graham said. When the policeman returned, he didn't try to put her out. Wendy of Wendy City held Lounge's blackened claw and looked straight at him. He stirred once a little before noon. It's gonna be just fine, Roscoe, she said. I'll have some high old times. Lounge stirred again and died. Chapter 23. Captain Osborne of Chicago Homicide had gray, pointed face of stone fox. Copies of the Tatler were all over the police station. He was on the desk. He didn't ask Crawford and Graham to sit down. He had nothing at all working with Lounge in the city of Chicago. No, he was coming to Washington, Crawford said. He had a plane reservation. I'm sure you've checked it. Yeah, I got it. He left his office about 1:30 yesterday. Got jumped in the garage of his building. Must have been about 10 of 2. Anything in the garage? His keys got kicked under his car. There's no garage attendant. They had a radio operator door, but it came down to a couple of cars and they took it out. Nobody saw it happen. It's getting to be a refrain today. We're working on the car. Can we help you there? You can have the results when I get them. You haven't said much, Graham. You had plenty to say at the paper. I haven't heard much either, listening to you. You're pissed off, Captain, Crawford said. Me? Why should I be? We run down a phone trace for you and a caller a fucking news reporter. Now you've got no charges against him. You have some deal with him. He had been cooked in front of this scandal sheet. Now the other papers adopt him like he was their own. Now we got our own Tooth Fairy murderer right here in Chicago. That's right, Tooth Fairy in Chicago, boy. Before midnight, we'll have 6 accidental domestic shootings. Guy trying to sneak in his own house drunk. Life hears him bang. Tooth Fairy made like Chicago. Decided to stick around, have some fun. We can do like this, Crawford said. Butt heads, get the police commissioner and U.S. attorney all stirred up. Get all the assholes stirred up, yours and mine. Or we could settle down and try to catch the bastard. That was my operation and it went to shit. I know that. You have ever happened right here in Chicago? I don't want to fight you, Captain. We want to catch him and go home. What do you want? Osborn moved a couple of items on his desk. A pen holder, a picture of a fox-faced child in a band uniform. He leaned back in his chair, pursed his lips, and blew out some air. Right now, I want some coffee. You guys want some? I'd like some, Crawford said. So would I, Graham said. Osborn passed around foam cups. He pointed to the chairs. Tooth Fairy had to have a van or panel truck to move Lowndes around in that wheelchair, Graham said. Osborn nodded. License plate Lowndes said was stolen off a TV repair truck in Oak Park. It took a commercial plate, so he was getting it for a truck or a van. He replaced the plate on the TV truck with another stolen plate so it wouldn't be noticed too fast. Very sly, this boy. One thing we do know, he got the plate off the TV truck sometime after 8:30 yesterday morning. TV repair guy bought gas first thing yesterday and he used a credit card. He attended and copied the correct license number on the slip, so the plate was stolen after that. Nobody saw any kind of truck or van, Crawford said. Nothing. The guard at the Tatler saw Zip. He could referee wrestling, he sees so little. The fire department responded first to the Tatler. They were just looking for fire. We're canvassing the overnight workers at the Tatler neighborhood and neighborhoods where the TV guy worked Tuesday morning. We hope somebody saw a cop at the plate. I'd like to see that chair again, Graham said. It's in our lab. I'll call for them for you. Osborn paused. Lowndes was a ballsy little guy. You have to give him that. Remembering the license number and spitting it out, shape he was in. You listened to what Lowndes said at the hospital? Graham nodded. I don't mean to rub this in, but I want to know if we heard it the same way. What does it sound like to you? Graham quoted them in monotone. Tooth Fairy. Graham set me up. The cunt knew it. Graham set me up. Cunt put his hand on me in the picture like a fucking pet. Osborn could not tell how Graham felt about it. He asked another question. He was talking about the picture of you and him in the Tatler. Had to be. Where would he get that idea? Lowndes and I had a few run-ins, but he looked friendly toward Lowndes in the picture. The Tooth Fairy kills the pet first, is that it? That's it. The stone fox was pretty fast, Graham thought. Too bad you didn't stake him out. Graham said nothing. Lowndes was supposed to be in with us by the time the Tooth Fairy saw the Tatler, Crawford said. Does what he said mean anything else to you? Anything we can use? Graham came back from somewhere and had to repeat Osborn's question in his mind before he answered. We know from Lowndes that said the Tooth Fairy saw the Tatler before he hit Lowndes, right? Right. If you start with the idea that the Tatler set him off, does it strike you that he set this up in a hell of a hurry? The thing came off the press Monday night. He's in Chicago stealing license plates sometime Tuesday, probably Tuesday morning. He's on top of Lowndes Tuesday afternoon. What's that say to you? I saw it early, or didn't have far to come, Crawford said. Either he saw it in Chicago or he saw it someplace else Monday night. Bear in mind he'd be watching for it to get his personal column. Either he was already here or he came from a driving distance, Graham said. He was on top of Lowndes too fast with a big old wheelchair he couldn't carry on the plane. It doesn't even fold. And he didn't fly here, steal a van, steal plates for it, and go around looking for an antique wheelchair to use. He'd have to use an old wheelchair. A new one wouldn't work for what he did. Graham was up, fiddling with the cord on the Venetian blinds, staring at a brick wall across the air shaft. He already had the wheelchair, or he saw it all the time. Osborn started to ask a question, but Crawford's expression cautioned him to wait. Graham was tying knots in the blind cord. His hands were not steady. You saw it all the time, Crawford prompted. Graham said. You can see how the idea starts with the wheelchair. from the sight and thought of the wheelchair. That's where the idea would come from when he's thinking what he'll do with those fuckers. Freddy rolling down the street on fire. Must have been quite a sight. Do you think he watched it? Maybe. He certainly saw it before he did it, when he was making up his mind what he'd do. Osborn watched Crawford. Crawford was solid. Osborn knew Crawford was solid, and Crawford was going along with this. If he had the chair, or he saw it all the time, we could check around the nursing homes and the VA, Osborn said. It was perfect to hold Freddy still, Graham said. For a long time, he was gone 15 hours and 25 minutes, more or less, Osborn said. If he just wanted to snuff Freddy, he could have done that in the garage, Graham said. He could have burned him in his car. He wanted to talk to Freddy, or hurt him for a while. Either he did in the back of the van, or he took him somewhere else, Crawford said. At length of time, I'd say he took him somewhere else. It had to be somewhere safe. If he's bundled him up good, he wouldn't attract much noise around a nursing home going in and out, Osborn said. You have the racket, though, Crawford said. Certain amount of cleaning up to do. Assume you had the chair, and you had access to the van, and you had a safe place to take to him to work on him. Does that sound like home? Osborn's telephone rang. He growled into it. What? No, I don't want to talk to Tadler. Well, it better not be bullshit. Put her on. Captain Osborn, yes. What time? Answer the phone initially, at the switchboard. Take her off the switchboard, please. Tell me again what he said. I'll have an officer there in 5 minutes. Osborn looked at his telephone thoughtfully after he hung up. Lowndes' secretary got a call about 5 minutes ago, he said. She swears it was Lowndes' voice. He said something she didn't get. Strength of the Great Red Dragon. That's what she thought he said. Thank you. That was part 8 of Red Dragon. Thank you for listening, and good night.